to you all and welcome to the show. If not now, when? I'm Marjorie Paillon, with me in studio, Sébastien Badeau.
Hello Marjorie.
Hi Sébastien. Today we're going to talk about a brand that can turn streets into catwalks, who can think body positive to keep up with the 3.5 million customers per year. A perfect observatory of shopping and societal trends. Let's open the box with its chairman of the ETAM Group, Laurent Milchior.
Hello Marjorie. Hello Sébastien.
Hello Laurent.
So last September, you actually created one of the jewels of the Paris Fashion Week, turning your flagship store into the best catwalk ever.
Well, thank you. I don't know if it was the best show. It was. We try our best. It's the 13th year that we do a show, and every year we try to have something special. And we really, I think, all brands are with entertainment. And this year, even more with the COVID crisis, I think people want entertainment in order to be happy to consume the products. And I think the show was a way to say, you know, if you do things in a proper way, with assuring the distanciation and all the security that you need to have during the COVID, you can still live reasonably, and that was the message. And being in the center of Paris, next to Boulevard Haussmann, where we have lack of tourists and everything, was a real message to say, you know, life has to go on, and the show must go on. That was the idea.
And is it also a way to say that stores aren't dead, so long live stores?
Well, I think stores are not dead as long as you propose a real experience in the shop. You know, whether it's an omni-channel experience, the product, the way you show the product. I even think that the digital experience in the stores has to be kind of low key. You know, it's more like in the back office and how your salesperson and know more about your customer rather than have only the big screens and all the digital experience, because people have their mobile now, and I don't think people want to tap on a screen in the store or anything. So we offer kind of a lot of services in the store. I mean, this store is a specific store. It's a flagship store, so it's a big Dutch architect that did it. It's a kind of a whole glass box, and but like we have now all the stores, we do clienteling in all our stores. So the sales girls have their smartphone, and so we have information on the customer. They can pay with each of their sales assistants, a bit like in an Apple store. So you don't have to queue anymore. We have a service that we call Try at Home, where if you don't want to queue at the fitting rooms, basically you can take up to €150 of stock at home, have 11 days to try it, and just throw us back the bag of the products you don't want to keep, and we only charge you the difference, and you don't have to advance the money. So all these kind of services that we offer, connected fitting rooms where you can order extra pieces, extra sizes, and I think this makes the experience. So as long as you propose an experience, as long as you don't have too many stores, I think store has a future. And I mean, 11th of May in France, when the confinement was finished, some stores had queues in front of them. So people could have ordered during the confinement at home, and they decided to wait on the 11th of May to queue in front of the store to do some shopping. So I think the role has changed, but it's not dead.
The Apple Store of lingerie.
Yeah, well, in a way, yeah. I think it's all about innovation. I think it's about brand experience. I think retail is about, you know, transformation of retail is kind of the title of many articles everywhere, and I think it's very important that retail has a transformation. But the real thing behind it is how strong is your brand. You know, and many people have invested in how I can transform my retail, successful or unsuccessfully. But some people have dropped the idea of, you know, how much I spend on my brand. And of course, during this confinement and this COVID crisis, I mean, we all try to reduce our costs. You know, operating costs of all companies. Of course, we were close to 2 months. I mean, we lost 150 million euros. So of course, we have to be very careful on our spending. But the rule was like, okay, we're going to save some money, but we're not going to save on marketing. I think it's very clear, because brands have to emerge and to be stronger than the others, and the marketing and what you have to tell to your customers and how authentic you are is very important.
And speaking of brands, the ETAM Group is actually way more than one unique brand. It's also Undis and Maison 123, and you literally had to close overnight back in April your 1,400 stores worldwide.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Well, I think first of all, we were kind of lucky in this period of time. First, we're a family company. I think this is very important. So there's a real strong engagement from all the people in the company. They know why they work, you know, and who they work for, and I think this is very important. So everyone was really, you know, worked as a team at this period of time, and we were lucky because from the experience what we saw in China, what we saw in Italy, you know, we had planned that confinement was coming in France, and we were quite right, because the Monday before confinement, we had already confined our head office. So everyone was homing office from the Monday 14th before the actual confinement on the Tuesday. So everyone was ready. So we closed the stores on Sunday. Everyone had their laptop at home already. So everyone was ready to work. So it happened kind of smoothly, you know. I think The most difficult was for the people on the field because they felt, okay, what's going to happen for us? Are we going to get paid? Are we going to get laid off? In France, the unemployment scheme was very, very strong. So most people, I mean, everyone had 84% basically of their salary guaranteed during this period. But if you take Spain, for example, sales girls during confinement, I mean, they were making only 300 to 400 euro per month. So we completed the difference so that everyone was at this 84%, any country. So it was Russia, Belgium, etc., to make sure that people had enough to live and to go through this crisis. It's a trauma because you do your sales. Most of our sales are still done in the stores. But then we saw e-commerce picking up very fast after the trauma for the first 2 weeks where no one wanted to spend anything because like everyone was like what's going to happen to us. I mean we saw e-commerce pick up very strongly, and we quite lucky that we've invested regularly on our e-commerce platforms and our warehouses and logistics. So we were kind of easily tripled our sales online, and what we can see now is that of course it reduced again, but we're doing nearly double the sales that we used to do the year before. So
did you move some of the resources from the offline onto the online, and has that changed now that the stores have reopened?
No, we haven't moved yet from the offline to the online. I think now this year is kind of a careful year, so we really transition. It's a transition year, and 4 months before the confinement, we created, because we have several brands, we created a digital position at the board. So that was already new just before the confinement. So all the data, all the tech now is centralized for all the brands. So we were lucky that this organization was in place 4 months before the actual confinement. So we already increased our resources just beforehand. So I think we kind of ready, but clearly the investment will go towards more digital than the stores.
The good news coming from a digital player is that we really believe fully that the future is also in the stores, and I think that that's been really the story of Alibaba in many years, the idea of new retail and investing in stores and really understanding what does the consumer want? And what it's about is really about the engagement and really creating something that is always like a bit of a surprise, something where there's, technology, innovation, a new experience. And the Chinese consumer, who's incredibly young and extremely hungry for newness, for innovation, is the best test scenario. And then everybody that we work with, all the brands that we work with, can really benefit from that, be it online or in everything that they do within the stores.
Yeah, speaking of going from online to offline or reverse, it's all about delivering the most seamlessly experience, right? So do we have from now on to think hybrid by design?
Well, I think we have to think hybrid by design. I think one chance we have, we used to have a very strong position in China for ready-to-wear. So we used to have up to 3,000 stores. And of course, Alibaba, Tmall was a great partner. We used to do 25-30% of our sales through Alibaba with the 11/11, which was an incredible day, 25% of the year. And the level of service that was actually asked by the standards of Alibaba meant that we had to increase our game and the quality of the service that we had to deliver. From what we learned is the ship from store. I mean, this 11/11 is so big that you can't only have your stock in the warehouse. Of course, the store has to be pulled out from the store. So from this experience, we decided to go full RFID in Europe. And now today, we ship 40% of our merchandise e-com comes from our stores directly. So because we have a safe stock, and so we learned a lot. We learned also when you look at China and what you do, live streams are very strong on Tmall. So we launched live stream in Europe too with huge success during the live show.
And see now, buy now.
And see now, buy now. And I think it's picking up. If you have to click and go on another platform and it doesn't work. It has to be like, I want to buy it now, and it's on my basket, and I can spend it with my credit card.
We call it, the way that we see it is this idea of shoppertainment. So I think that's what people are looking for, like a seamless experience, and that's also like partly fun.
Which is definitely an experience from the 21st century. But if I'm correct, the ETAM Group was founded more than 100 years ago. So it's also a question of legacy now.
I think we were founded in 1916, and it was, I think, one of the values of the company is innovation. And we used to look a lot at the United States. We tried to import it, and being among the first ones in Europe to import it, like having your daily sales in a central IT system so that you could do a replenishment on a daily basis. But just doing this 35 years ago, you increase your sales by 40% immediately, having the right stock at the right place. And now I think the US is more classic, is more at the level of Europe, and everything is happening at the time it was maybe in Japan, and now it's in China. And the Chinese consumer, what you see in China is happening here. You see the success of TikTok. Of course, there's a whole story about TikTok, but I mean, you see that this was a very Chinese product, and now it's a global product. And the way Tmall works, or the way even WeChat works, you know, we import it, and like Instagram is using the same way. And so we don't always use the same platforms, but the way of doing commerce and retail is clearly now influenced by what's happening in China, and it's a full omnichannel experience.
So you've had a lot of business learnings during this time, and thank you for sharing with us. Did you have a personal takeaway from this difficult time?
Well, I think from this difficult time, difficulty to work with the distance of the screen, and when you get used to talk with people in real meetings, I think that's one thing, and also the importance of in this personal relationship with your family. You know, we all travel a lot, work a lot, and so we spend little time with the kids, which in my case are small kids. To have lunch with them every day, you know, 60 days in a row, was kind of a unique opportunity, and I think you know, it reinforced the link also that we don't have the chance. So I think it's a matter of trying to find a bit more space in the agenda for the little ones and for the family. I think that was my personal learning. Now the rest is, I think this crisis is a real accelerator of what was happening before. You know, I think we are already in a very fast changing world in the last 3 or 4 years. And I think all the phenomena that were happening have just been accelerated with the confinement and the current crisis. I don't think it's a reinvention. I don't think people are going to work completely differently. I think the home office is going to be the unique big difference. The rest is just an acceleration.
8 weeks of growth of e-commerce equals to 10 years before, right? That's what happened. Like in 8 weeks, we grew as fast as we did 10 years before. Overall e-commerce.
Yeah, well, for us it's probably 5 years, but
it's already pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your perspective. Thank you, Laurent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sébastien.
Thank you, Marjorie.
And thanks to you for watching. We'll be back soon with another episode of If Not Now, When?